Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys all so much for joining me today. Happy December. I hope all of you guys are enjoying the holidays. So for today's set, we're going to be creating this purple metallic gelic set in the shape Stiletto. We're going to be using XL Stiletto quick gel tips by the brand Painted Desert. Also do have a discount code, so don't forget to use PRIS10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. I really appreciate if you guys use my code. So here I went ahead and picked out my sizes already. So here's how the nail looks. Here you guys can see the length of them. They're super long, although I did wish they had a longer stiletto because I just am kind of used to the length already, and I'm kind of just like these are kind of long. I kind of want longer, you know. But yeah, overall these are super great quality and highly recommend. If you guys are looking for stiletto tips, definitely recommend these. So I already went ahead and filed my nails to perfection. I went ahead and rounded them out. I also went ahead and cleaned up the cuticle area, and they're just ready to apply these nail tips. So here's how my nail tips now look after. I went ahead and filed the cuticle area and the sidewalls to make sure that they fit perfectly to my nail beds. And so here's how they look. They fit sidewall to sidewall into the cuticle area. So that is done. Make sure you guys always pre-etch your nail tips on the underside so they last longer and they don't just pop off. Now that I'm done with that, we're gonna go in and apply our dehydrator. I already went ahead and pre-buffed my nails as I said previously, so I'm just gonna go in and apply dehydrator twice. I'm going in once, letting that dry, and then we're just gonna go in with our second coats. I'm using, I believe, Morabond's dehydrator, I'm not too sure. And then next I'm gonna go in with one thin layer of Protein Bond by Young Nails. I usually don't just like spread this on the nail. Usually I just scrub it into the nail, and then after that I only went ahead and applied one coat. I feel like sometimes 2 coats is unnecessary, but honestly it's up to you. 2 coats if you prefer, so I do 1. Next I'm gonna go in with Bellavina's 4-in-1 base coat. I absolutely love this product. I've been using them mainly for every single gelic set that I've done, and honestly I highly recommend it. It's super easy to soak off, so that's one thing that I like. I've tried so many, but usually they're not really easy to soak off, but this one I have no issue with it soaking off pretty well, and it also lasts forever. So we'll be showing you guys how these are holding up. I've had these, I believe, for about 3 weeks. I'm not too sure, but here I'm showing you guys how much product I'm adding onto my brush, how much I have, and then I'm applying that excess gel onto the nail tip here by the cuticle area, just like so. We're just gonna add a little bit there. Personally, I don't think this is a must. This is just something I do. So if you guys feel like doing it, you guys are more than welcome to. And so here's how the nail looks after. Now I'm going to go in and just apply the rest of the nails off camera, and then I will be back to show you guys how I created the nail design. Here's how all of the nails look after application. Super clean. They came out really great, and overall the process just takes about like 30 minutes or so for me to apply these on. Just look how gorgeous these look. I love the length. I love everything about these gel tips. And yeah, now I'm gonna go in and make sure that I make my stiletto shape a lot more sharper. I highly recommend, if you guys work with gelics, definitely switch to a glass file. You guys will probably notice that it's much more cleaner to work with these. It doesn't leave as much mess as when you're working with those paper ones, and it's just annoying, to be honest, and it leaves some ugly grooves. So I highly recommend switching to glass files. Next, I'm placing my e-file and forward, and I have it at 8 RPMs. And I'm using this comb bit in extra fine. And I'm going in and just first in the cuticle area. I'm going from the center of the cuticle area right to the left, and I'm just making sure I seal that in. And now I'm going from the underside right here, from the sidewall, and now I'm going to go back into the center here to seal. Here I am leaving this in just real time. Mainly my application is all going to be in real time, so you guys actually are able to see the process. I work pretty slow, to be honest. I am a perfectionist, I think, so that's kind of like something where it makes me take a lot longer than usual. But yeah, here's how all of the nails look now after I went ahead and sealed the cuticle area. And then I did go in and buff. I don't know why I don't have the footage for that, but I just went ahead and just used a little buffer and I just buffed them. Now we're going to go in and seal the cuticle area once more to have a much more cleaner look. I'm using the acetone. I'm just using any cheap brush you have there. The cheaper the better, and just make sure it's either squared, small, and round. And I'm only using a little bit of acetone here. Here you guys can see how much I'm using. It's almost nothing of acetone, so you don't want to use too much. Just a bit. I'm first just making sure that I kind of just moisten up my brush. Just moisten it up first. We're not going to be using that much. I'm just making sure that it's kind of just overall full with acetone first. And so here now finally, I'm just going to go ahead and remove some of that. And you guys can see on my towel there, there's almost nothing there. And you just want to go ahead and just wiggle that around, scrub it around the cuticle area. Just scrub, scrub, scrub. And make sure you seal those cuticles very well so you guys get that flawless look. I don't have any problem with this lifting, as you guys can tell. Here I am going to go show you guys how the cuticle area looks on my nails now. You guys can see there's no lifting. These are perfectly well, and I've had these on for a while already. Again, we're just grabbing a little bit more, and again just scrub, scrub, scrub. You don't want to grab too much. You don't want to make sure that your brush is literally dripping of acetone. If you do that, obviously they're just gonna pop off and it's gonna melt that away. But here you can see how beautiful this looks. Just look at the difference, and we're just basically using almost nothing of acetone. Here's how it looks, and I do want to go show you guys a side comparison. Look at the difference this makes. Super, super pretty. So here's how all of the nails look after I went ahead and sealed them. They look super, super pretty, just like this. I absolutely love how these look just like this, a blank canvas. It looks super, super pretty. Next, we're gonna go in and start creating our nail design. We're gonna be using 3 purple colors, and then we're gonna be using 1 black. Into my dapping dish, I'm gonna place some isopropyl alcohol, 70% to be exact. I'm going in applying this color here by Pine, 1 thin coat, then curing for 30 seconds. Using the brush from this 𝓿𝓲𝓼𝓬𝓸𝓾 gel polish, we're just gonna go ahead and apply these, I believe 3 colors we're applying. Actually 4. We're just applying a little bit of that onto the nail. Then I'm going in with the black gel polish by Model 1s. And lastly, we're going to go in with this liner brush here. We're going to go ahead and create a marble. I'm going to dip my brush into this alcohol. And we're just going to tap, tap, tap. And then remove that excess onto your paper towel. Honestly, I feel like this wasn't necessary because at the end of the day, we're going to go in and apply iridescent powder. And it's not really going to show up. But again, some things I just do just because I'm bored. I'm going to go ahead and use this cotton thing here to make sure that I remove any excess gel polish that is on my skin. Then I went ahead and cured for 30 seconds, and we're top coating and curing for 60 seconds. Here's the iridescent powder. I'm using this purple one, and we're just going to rub that on. Make sure you rub that in very, very well. And here's how it looks. Using a brush, go ahead and remove that excess powder, and here's how it looks after. You can't really tell that marble under, honestly. Now, next, we're going to go in with Bellabina's top gel. And I'm just applying a little bit of that and using another brush to not contaminate my main top coat. I'm going to go ahead and spread that around and cure for 60 seconds. Using this Nail Addict White Addict gel polish, we're going to go in and apply 1 very thin coat of this onto the nail. Then I went ahead and applied top coat and cured for 60 seconds. We're going to be using chrome. We're going to be using this silver one here. And using this little, I don't know what it's called, makeup sponge, I believe. We're just going to grab some of that. Make sure you cure your top coat for 60 seconds. Then we're just going to go ahead and just rub that in. You guys can use black, but I feel like when I use white, it just has a softer look. And I prefer a softer metallic look than a much more stronger one. I went ahead and applied top coat directly on there. And again, to not contaminate my main top coat, I'm using another brush to go ahead and move that around onto the nail. And then we're just going to cure this for 60 seconds. Now, after that, we're going to go ahead and make sure that we buff the nails so we have a clean surface so we can draw some stars. I'm going in with some alcohol to cleanse the nail, make sure we don't have any dust. And now we're going to use the color P116 by Pine and this Akihi brush here. I will be leaving links below to everything that I'm using. I'm making sure that I just go ahead and first draw a little triangle first. Then we're just going to draw another one like this, a line across. Then we're just going to start connecting from this little center onto the other little end of that triangle. And here's how I basically make my stars. Honestly, I don't even want to tell you guys how long these stars took me because I kept messing up. I didn't like how it turned out, so I kept redoing it. Again, when it comes to being a perfectionist, I think it just kind of makes me take a lot longer. I notice little details, and if I don't like how something looks, I will redo it until I'm happy with it. But here I'm just going in and just making sure I fill these now in. We're just going to fill that in very, very gently, and then we're going to go ahead and cure for 30 seconds. And so here's how my star looks. Again, I'm making sure that I kind of just fill those in. And I do want to let you guys know that this start alone just took me 7 minutes. Now after we're done, I'm going to go in with, I'm not too sure where I got this brush from. I believe it's Wistonia, I'm not too sure. Again, like I said, I'm going to leave links below. I did another star there as well, a tinier one. And I'm using a longer, thicker brush. We're just going to make an open-ended star around that star there. Again, you want to make sure that lines are thicker here for the open-ended star. This one was a lot harder, honestly. I believe it took me quite a while because sometimes the line didn't come out the way I wanted to. But overall, I was super happy with how this set turned out. And so here I'm just making my little star here. Again, you want to make sure that you're using a thicker brush here. For the little stars there, I did go ahead and use a thinner and shorter brush. But for this one, I'm using a more thicker and more longer brush. And so here now, after we have our star done, I'm going to go ahead and just make sure I go in again over each line to make it thicker. And I make sure that I also have much more, thickness on the lines there. So you guys can actually see the purple because on some you can barely tell it. So I'm going over just once more. And then I'm going to go in and cure for 30 seconds. Using my painted desert liner, 5mm to be exact, we're going to go ahead and kind of just outline the stars. Here you guys can see how short this brush is and how thin these are. So for this one, I recommend a very thin liner. I'm going in with Born Pretty's metallic drawing gel. We're just going to grab a little bit onto our brush here. I love these brushes because they have a cap, and I also love because it has that metal part there, so our brushes won't get won't lose its straight shape. And so here I'm just outlining the star here very gently. These are just little small details that I think it made the stars just stand out a lot more, look more prettier. I really love, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I really love doing small minor details that people probably won't notice, but I just find them to be fun. They might be a little bit of a pain because it takes a lot of process, but I really love the result. So here I went ahead and finished doing that 𝚖𝚎𝚗𝚍 star there, and I went ahead and top coat and cured for 60 seconds. On to the next. Now we're going in and applying one very thin coat of the color P, I believe 116. I'm not too sure anymore, but we're using that same pine color. We're going in just applying one very thin coat of this, then curing for 30 seconds. Now we went ahead and top coat, cure for 60 seconds, and now we're going to go in with that pearlescent powder again. Just going to rub that in. Once you have that done, we're going to go in and remove that excess. And finally, we're just going to go in and top coat this now. Here's how it looks. You guys can see my little sister is there with me. She's 2 years old now. She's about to be 3 in December. Super close. But anyways, I went ahead and cured that top coat. And next, we're going to go in with this Boslin liner. And I'm using the color black. Honestly, I don't know where some of the footage went. I don't know if I lost it or I didn't record. At the same time, I was making sure my little sister didn't touch my stuff because she loves nails. Every time I'm doing nails, she's like, nails, nails, nails. And then she asked me to paint her nails. But yeah, I went ahead and did a French tip there. I went ahead and top coated. And now using this color Black Addict onto the next nail, we're going to go in and apply one thin coat, then cure for 30 seconds. Here's how it looks after. I love Nail Addict's gel polishes because they're super pigmented. Now here I'm going with Painted Desert's 12mm liner. This one's just much more longer. Onto my little paper here, I'm applying a little bit more of that gel polish, and we're also going to be using Ballerina's base coat to work as our blooming gel. Want a very thin coat here, and make sure you do not cure this at all. And just using this liner, we're just going to go ahead and apply some of this onto the nail directly like this. And that base coat is just going to make the gel polish just bloom into this pretty little thing here. I do recommend using a long and thin liner. If you use a thicker one, it's probably not going to come out as neat, just because I went ahead and tried it out, and I feel like a liner that is much more thinner, it makes this design look overall much better. I went ahead and cured, and now using the same metallic Born Pretty painting gel here, and I believe I'm using the 5mm liner by Painted Desert here. We're just going to go ahead and create these little sort of triangles, and you want to make these as messy as you possibly can. Don't make them in actual triangles, you know. Just kind of make them a little bit messy, and here's how it looks. Look how beautiful this looks. I also recommend before curing this chrome painting gel, make sure you let it sit for at least a minute or so, because it'll look much better. And here I'm going in around and outlining the entire nail here. And then I'm going to make sure that it's kind of messy. You guys can see I'm kind of making sure that it's messy. If you just leave it straight, it's not going to look as pretty. So you want to make sure that you kind of squiggle your brush a little bit. You don't want to hold it too straight. And you guys can see that I'm kind of creating a little bit of squiggles here and there. Just like this. Just a little random. And then after that, I went ahead and cured for 30 seconds and top coated and cured for 60 seconds. Here's how our bases look so far. Now we just need to do the thumb. So for the thumb, I'm going in with this color by Pine as well. Half of the nail is going to be this beautiful, gorgeous purple color, and the other half is going to be this color by Black Addict. Nail Addict. The color is Black Addict. And using this ombre brush, we're going to go ahead and create an ombre. So here I'm just going to go ahead and go down towards the nail. You guys can see that I'm working very gently. You want to make sure that you're very soft-handed with this design. In particular, if you do it too heavy-handed, the strokes are going to notice, and most of the gel polish is just going to come out. You guys can see. We're just going to go in. I did go ahead and speed this up now. Now it does look like I'm being a little bit heavy-handed, but it's sped up. But here again, we're just going to go in with the second coat. Usually this requires up to 3 to 2 coats, depending on how pigmented your gel polishes are. I did 3 coats, but I only showed me doing 2. Same thing here. I'm going in and just going ahead and going down towards the nail, brushing it. And then here again, I sped it up so you guys don't have to wait that long. Once you have your ombre design how you want it, then go ahead and cure for 30 seconds. Here's how this looks after. We're going to go in and now use this little statue here. And we're just going to place that directly into the center of the nail. And using this tool here, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it's flat and I have no air bubbles. And just like so. Now that it's directly on there, then we're ready to go ahead and just top coat this nail. Look how gorgeous this nail looks. I did apply it onto the opposite hand. You guys can see that I have chains. I didn't do chains on this nail just because I feel like I didn't really like the chains. So at the end of the day, I ended up actually taking the chain off. And so I'm not going to show you guys that process. But here, I'm going to go in and start on the pinky now. So my idea was to create this sort of look here, the chains. But I did not have any more chains left of this thinner one that I used on my practice sets here. I did the same design I had, but with just a thicker chain. It just didn't look as neat, especially because we were working with the pinky there. So I ended up having to just kind of switch it up on this end here. So we have this chain here. I will be leaving links below to this chain. I actually don't even know where it's from, but I would try to find a similar one. But here's how it looks. I'm making sure that I first measure how much I need. Once I have it, I go ahead and hold it, and using some nail clippers just cut off the excess, just like so. Just cut that piece off. And then we're going to be going in with Rosalind's nail rhinestone glue here and some tweezers. So here's how this looks. I absolutely love this one. I've had it for, I believe, about 2 years, and it works really, really great. And so again, I'm using my painted desert sidewinder lamp. Here's how it looks. Again, like I said, it's rechargeable. It has that button there, and it charges up until, I believe, 2 hours or so, or 4. I'm not too sure, but it stays pretty charged. I don't really have to charge it often, especially because I only do my own nails. And so here's how it looks. I first go ahead and before applying my chains, I go ahead and leave it on. So here I have my tweezers, and I'm just going to go in and place a little bit of my tweezer into the little bit of that loop there, so it just holds up, so I'm able to hold that chain. You guys can see it's inside one of those little loops. I go ahead and dip that chain into the rhinestone glue, and I'm going ahead and just using that little end of that foil there from the top coat, I'm going ahead and remove that excess, just like so. Now that we're going to apply it, I go ahead and turn on my lamp. Here, as you can see, I'm turning that on first. I'm just making sure it's a little bit away, and I'm just placing it onto the nail, just like so. Use my tweezers, and we're just going to place that flat there. Make sure you move it pretty well. Then go ahead and flash cure in your sidewinder lamp. I went ahead and cured for about 30 seconds, and then I go in and do a full cure in my lamp for 60 seconds. Flash curing it into place, and now we have more chain. I went ahead and already pre-cut this one down to the size that I need. Same thing, you just want to dip it in there. You only want to dip one side, but it doesn't really matter if you dip both sides. Honestly, it'll give the same look. It doesn't ruin that chain look, you know. I'm just placing it like this. You want to start from the opposite end. You don't want to start from the cuticle area, laying your chain down, just because it won't look as clean. But yeah, I went ahead and flash cured, and here's how the nail looks. Now onto the middle nail here, and in the index we're going to be applying some charms. So you want to make sure that you buff the area first. I'm going to buff, remove that excess powder, then going in with my wiper here with some isopropyl alcohol to remove any dust. Just remove that away. And here's our rhinestones that we're going to be using. We're not going to be using any more chains. Like I said, we're not going to be doing that then with chains anymore. I didn't like it. We're just going to be using this star and this little bit of a frame here. First, I'm going to go in with 𝚤𝚏𝚜's rhinestone glue. I absolutely love this product. Highly recommend it. And we're going to be using top coat. You're probably wondering, why did you buff the top coat off? You already had top coat. Honestly, I feel like this just lasts longer the way I do it like this. And my charms are still on. As you can see, my rhinestones are not on. I'm going to show you guys a picture here. But I'm grabbing some silver rhinestones, and I'm using this wax tool. And I'm top coating the nail first, just like so. And you want to make sure that you apply some of this rhinestone glue directly onto the charm. You want to make sure that you're not applying any gel onto your fingers. If you are, please wear gloves. I didn't have any, so I was like, okay, whatever, let's just go at it. But yeah, I went ahead and just place this directly onto the nail like so. The way I do it here is just much more easier for me. The rhinestones actually stay on. If I apply the rhinestone glue onto the nail and then apply my charm after, usually my charms are gone, you know, by probably the 3rd, 4th day they're gone, but they're still on. My charms are on. The thing that are not on is my rhinestones. Here's how that nail looks now after. So probably I would recommend for the rhinestones, probably dip it into that rhinestone glue gel by 𝚤𝚏𝚜, and then place it onto the wet top coat, because just like this with the top coat, it did not stay on. Sadly, my charms stayed on. They're still on. The chains are on. They're perfectly fine. It's just the rhinestones were gone by probably the 2nd week. And so here's how it looks. I went ahead and cure that for 60 seconds. Now, you know, when using your charms, often you're probably bald by the end of the nail set because it pulls a lot of hair. So what I do to avoid this is I grab some of the Rosalind's now and this liner, you want to grab a thicker one, and on the little crevices there, you want to fill that in. Any little gaps you have, make sure you fill that in to avoid becoming bald, basically, because I lost a lot of hair. My last nail set, I think I had charms as well, and I have just lose so much hair because it would just pull it. But this time I did it a little bit different, and you guys can see my nail charms are on. It worked perfectly. So here, now directly onto the charm here, the frame, I'm going in and just applying the smart card glue there first. I'm gonna pick this up using tweezers, but I think at the end of the day it kept falling with the tweezers, so I just pulled it with my hand. Oh, I guess not. But anyways, I went ahead and applied top coat again. The top coat, I have not cured it yet. We're curing the top coat first, and then we're just gonna press that down. Make sure you press that down with your finger and then cure for 60 seconds. And look how this set looks. I'm super excited to show you guys. Here's how it looks. Super gorgeous set and super fun. I just love this set so much. I just wish the rhinestones would have stayed on. Sadly they didn't, but again, it's a trial and error thing. Now I know next time maybe try it out this way. But here's how the thumb looks, in case you guys were wondering. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys all so much for joining me today. See you guys next time, and let me know how you guys are doing. Goodbye, and also let me know what you guys wore this time. Goodbye. Thank you guys all so much for joining me.